Lisa. How are you? Good. All right. Hi. How are you? I'm okay. How are you? Yeah. How's Chagrin going?
So that's Craig's. Yes. I gotta pee before the shit starts.
I see her at Christmas and funeral. So you know what I mean? Like we keep in touch, but not as she is. Which is what grade is that? That's probably what she is now. Sorry if I'm not allowed to approach you. Right, you are. You ready to break out in song?
Phil, we're ready.
Good evening. Today is Wednesday, April 16th, 2025 at 6 p.m. We are in the Brecksville Broadview Heights High School Auditorium, 6380 Mill Road, Broadview Heights, Ohio. This meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. Public participation is governed by Board Bylaw 0169.1, public participation at board meetings. This meeting will be live streamed via YouTube and will also be recorded for later viewing. Please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel where all recordings are posted. Item 1B, please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 1C, roll call.
Mrs. Galick,
Yes.
Mrs. Kramer, Ms. Kwiatkowski,
Yes.
Ms. O'Mara,
Yes.
Mr. Dosen.
Yes. Ellen Kramer notified me she's running a little bit late with traffic. She wanted us to get started since we have a group of people, so she'll be joining us momentarily. Item 2, recognition.
Well, this is, the best board meeting of the year probably. We have quite a few guests with us here in the audience, many of our student athletes and students who have achieved at such a great level. And without stealing any thunder from the coaches or our administrators when I come up and introduce them, I just want to take a quick second to thank the parents, number one, for the opportunity to be able to serve your children and be able to put them in a position to be successful that they are. But also another group is the coaches and advisors, especially the ones that are here tonight. The amount of work and effort and that goes into building the type of programs that people want to be a part of. No school district or organization could pay you enough for that work that you do. And I know you don't do it for the money, but you do it for the love of the sport or the activity. And on behalf of the school board and the school district, to those coaches and advisors tonight, a heartfelt thank you for what you do and the position that you put our student athletes in. So thank you very much, coaches and advisors. With that, I'd like to introduce Mr. Kevin Jacob, the high school principal, to start with the first group.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to start off by first having Coach Kowach come up from us from Team 2011, our robotics team. Once again, we've had an unbelievable robotics season this year. It is the fourth year in a row with, I don't want to take too much of Mr. Kowach's thunder, but fourth year in a row of having state champions from our robotics program, in addition to the numerous other accolades that our teams have achieved at the state level this year as well. And their season isn't quite over yet as they prepare to head to the world competition, hopefully if you approve their trip tonight. Keep your fingers crossed, guys. When we talk about the program in itself, I would be remiss if I didn't take this opportunity to thank Mr. Kowach specifically. I know Mr. Harrison talked about the countless hours that go in, but I don't think people realize the amount of time that Mr. Kowach and our students put into the robotics program. If you come here on a Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we have a little clipboard that you sign in to make sure to let people know somebody else is in the building that you're in and not to arm it if you leave. And pretty much any time you enter this building on a weekend hour, whether it be at 8 a.m. on a Saturday or a Sunday or 11 p.m., his name is associated with that list, and I can say the same for Coach Taverdill as well. Success does not happen with just talent. Success happens with a great deal of effort and dedication, and I think our coaches and our athletes definitely exemplify that. And one more thank you to our parents in our robotics program. None of this happens without you, without your support and without your demand for excellence, and you guys are really the catalyst for all of it. So thank you so much. Kids, on your way home tonight, thank your parents for everything that happens with the robotics program, because without them, none of this would happen. So with that, I turn it over to Mr. Kowach.
I didn't know I was going to be speaking tonight, so. This is our fourth year state title for our robotics team. In robotics, there's actually 3 state champs. There's a skills state champ, an excellence state champ, and then your tournament. And we happen to win all 3 this year. Team members, if I can get to, I want to read all of them because even if they're not here, they need to be acknowledged. Alexander Wynn, Ethan Manley, Leland Fan, Silas McRae, Venchika Mignani. That's Team A. They were state champs in the tournament, along with Team K, which is Anushka Kenya, Karina Wan, Derek Patton, Luke Riddles, and Sawyer Jones. That was Team K. If I could have them stand up. Then we did have our skills state champs. That was our Team D. Alex Fu, Charlie Paushi, Doris Chen, Grace Filmer, and Lily Marsh. And then your Excellence Award winner is the overall top team in robotics. We do compete against other teams in a game every year. They redesign a game, and we have to build robots to play that game. But along with it is your soft skills. You get interviewed by engineers from NASA, from you name it, all over the place. And our Team B, they were the Excellence Award winner. That is Abinu Hanna, Cadence Gow, Cassidy Klodnick, Nathan Sutton, Velamina Hanna, and Chris Morkos. If you could stand up. And at the World Championships, they have the ability to end up winning the Excellence Award down there also. We're about 3 weeks away, Dallas, Texas. There will be 37 of us going, and hopefully. And thank you.
Mark Maslone, Athletic Director.
Thank you, Mr. Harrison. Thank you, Board. Thank you, Mr. Jacob. I am really honored to be here tonight to introduce these coaches and student athletes. I'm amazed every season of what a high-achieving district this is, and what a high-achieving kids and students, athletes we have. Not every high school is like that, and I never take it for granted, but it reminds me of a story back in the 50s. The New York Yankees, when they won a World Series, and most teams, you win a World Series or a World Championship or a state championship, and they make this huge deal of a victory parade, and it's going to follow this route. It's going to go down Main Street and Elm Street and Pine Street or whatever. The Yankees would put out a press release saying the celebration this year will follow its usual route. And that's how I feel about our kids. We have such success every year, and I never want to take it for granted. And we have the biggest of the big guys with our wrestlers, and the smallest of our student athletes with some of our gymnasts, and the heart they have is amazing. When I'm at the state gymnastics tournament and I see the pressure that they're under with the 22 straight years, and they get it done every year, I couldn't even imagine it. Sometimes it comes down to the last vault or the last event, and I'm amazed by that. I'm amazed by our wrestlers and the continued success they have year in and year out, and how I'll talk to other high-achieving schools. They'll say, oh, we sent one wrestler. Oh, we didn't send any this year, or whatever, and we're sending double digits every year. Amazing. And our swimmers and divers, our divers that won state championships are qualified, or have only been diving a couple years. amazing that their talent and also amazing that the coaches can get them prepared like that. I'm just so proud of them, so honored to be a small part of that. So with that, I'd like to introduce our first team, our gymnastics team, and Coach Maria Schneider.
Again, I don't have a speech, so very proud of these girls. Why don't you, all right, come on up. I'll give you an order. Ready? I think they deserve the accolades more than anyone. They come every day to practice. They show up. They get put under a lot of pressure, and they continue to defend our state title. And so I'd like them to get a little shout out. Let's have Avery Butler. Go out there. Say hello to all the board members and your superintendent and treasurer and everyone. Yeah, keep going. Gianna Ravignani. Rachel Kelly. Ava Audino. Those are our seniors. Isabella Parrish is not here this evening, but another senior. Our juniors, Kyla Haverdill. Sarah Kwiatkowski. Bailey Miller, Emily Gromick, another junior not here tonight, but definitely to be recognized, Rachel Kieran. We have our sophomores, Olivia Vasili. Oh, now we're going out of order. Freshman, Gwyneth Polpowski. Freshman, Arison Audino. Freshman Annabelle Dax. Junior Carol Samuel. Sorry, Carol. They are out of order, my bad. Tia Long, junior. Freshman Sasha Milanich. And our amazing manager, Verena Yakashenko. I will hold it to for that, yeah. So I just want to throw out here that these girls, and also not here tonight is Abby Pignatello, but 7 of the girls were individual state qualifiers, which is really hard to do, and back-to-back weeks, and then for them to win team gold Friday night, and then Saturday, and then to turn around and come back on individual day to compete for themselves, and we still had quite a few of our girls get on the podium. 6 of the 7 girls were individual qualifiers. I had it up to so I don't mess up, but I will. All right, give me a second now. There goes my, come on. All right, let's see. Well, forget it. Let's see if I can remember. Rachel Kieran had 3rd on floor, who's not here. Rachel Kelly was an all-state team member for the floor exercise. Avery Butler placed on the balance beam. Where's my other girls? Pip is not here. Gigi, where are you? All right. Gigi is the one of 5 people in Ohio high school history who has won more than 4 state titles in individual all around throughout the season. So I want to give her a big shout out for that. Like I said, I wasn't prepared and I get nervous under pressure. All right, and then Avery, did I say Avery also qualified or placed on the podium? And there we go, who'd I miss? Olivia Vasili, 4th on the vault. So congratulations to all these ladies. I can't wait to see what we continue next year with 23, and best to our seniors as they venture into their next steps of their career pathway or college. Congratulations.
Thanks, Maria, and it truly is an honor to work with you and your family. It's also an honor to work with this guy. who's had just amazing success since he's been here, and I'm really proud to be a small part of that too. Mr. Todd Haverdale.
All right, I'm not one for speeches either, but I will acknowledge this group finished third in the state in our team duels, and the team finished ranked 24th in the United States as a team at the end of the season. So we had a school record, 10 state place winners, which is awesome, and especially considering we had 2 returning state place winners who were out with injury. So we had a few that are sick, so I'll acknowledge them one at a time. But freshman Lucas Scholes was 5th in the state at 106 pounds. Junior Rylan Seacrest became the 13th state champion in our school's history. He was at 113 pounds. Freshman Cole Spear finished 6th in the state at 120 pounds. Senior Harrison Hafner was 5th in the state at 126 pounds. Senior Caden Pluhar was 5th in the state at 132 pounds. Junior Jace Jett was 3rd in the state at 138 pounds. Senior Edwin Rios was 6th in the state at 190 pounds. Senior Riley McPherson finished as a state runner-up at 215 pounds. And junior E.J. German was 6th in the state at heavyweight. And our amazing young lady, Anna Mahdi, finished 7th in the state for us as well. So if you guys maybe want to grab this, I don't know if you want to do a picture, but Lucas and Rylan right here. We're backwards now, so Riley, Rios isn't here, right? Jace, how'd they get out of order? Pluhar. Oh. Hafner. Spear. No Rylan. Lucas, this has to be you guys. Oh. So no, I screwed those up. Thanks. I'm not doing a picture.
And finally tonight, I would like to introduce our head swim coach. In just his 2nd season, has done a fantastic job of getting us to state level competition consistently, and as well as our diving coach, Mr. Andy Pohlmeyer. But I'd like to introduce and have him come on up, Mr. Chris Thomas.
Thank you to the Board of Education and Administration for recognizing our team's accomplishments this season. Your support means so much to our athletes. A big thank you as well to all the parents and coaches whose dedication makes these successes possible. Congratulations to all of our sports teams on their outstanding seasons. You continue to inspire our school community. The first athlete I'd like to recognize, Lucas Collada, Senior. Please come up to the stage. Lucas is a 3-time state qualifier for para swimming. He's a district champion, a 2-time state champion in the para 50 freestyle, state runner-up in the para 100 backstroke, and overall in his career for 3 total state appearances, 3 state championships, and 3 state runner-up performances. Congratulations, Lucas. As the head coach of the swimming and diving team, I don't work specifically with our divers, but I proudly fulfill my role as a cheerleader from the sidelines, oohing and eyeing and occasionally gasping like the rest of the crowd when I watch Brock and Rachel dive. Andy Pohlmeyer, can you please stand up? Coach Andy is our diving coach. He has done an amazing job with our divers this season, coaching 2 athletes to place in the top 8 at the States is truly amazing. Congratulations, Coach Andy. I'd like to call up Brock Rousseau, please. Brock is a senior on our team. He's a 3-time state qualifier in 1-meter diving. He's placed number 2 on both the 6 and 11 dive top 10 lists, placed 3rd at the suburban meet, 2nd place at the district meet, 6th place at the state meet. He has the highest placement in the history for the bees in boys diving, and he also received our team's most improved athlete. Congratulations, Brock. And finally, Rachel Curran. She isn't present tonight. She is at practice this evening with her club diving team in preparation for the USA Regional Diving Meet in a few weeks. She is grateful for this recognition and is focused on advancing with her club team and preparing for next season. Her mother, Melanie, will be accepting her award on her behalf. Rachel's accomplishments read like an ESPN highlight reel. 2-time state qualifier in 1-meter diving, an undefeated season, has both the 6 and 11 dive school records, a 2-time suburban champion, a district champion, a state champion, over 200 girls diving in the state of Ohio. She was number 1. The first state champion in diving history for both boys and girls, while earning a 4.6 GPA during that same semester. Rachel has 2 state titles in different sports during the same season. That has never been done before for bees gymnastics and for diving. Rachel also earned the Athlete Diver of the Year and was our team most valuable player. Congratulations, Rachel.
Well, thank you to the coaches, and I can just see the humbleness of each of you, but your accomplishments are great. I guess my message to our community is spending 10 years as I was a former athletic director, collegiate athlete, high school athlete, like this isn't normal. And I know people are starting to make fun of me when I say that about our school district in so many areas, but the awards and the accomplishments by the young men and women who came across the stage tonight or were recognized and stood in the back is simply not normal, it's special. And that's what makes Brecksville-Broadview Heights a destination district that we can all be proud of. And we value the time that we get to spend with your sons and daughters. So thank you for allowing us to do that. And thank you for your continued support of our school district that makes much of this available to them. So with that, one last round of applause for our outstanding students.
Go ahead. No.
Go ahead. No, I'll round out.
I just want to say, first of all, to the parents, I'm a parent of a student athlete myself, and there's no way that these student athletes didn't get to where they are today without standing on your shoulders and all of the sacrifice that you guys have made so that they could excel. All the practices you drove them to, all the equipment you purchased. That 20% off Dick's coupon was really important at one point, I'm sure, for everyone to get the kids what they needed. So parents, thank you. You are the foundation for their excellence. To the coaches, I think that you are all exceptional, but I think what's even more exceptional is that I don't know if everyone knows that most of our coaches are teachers themselves. They're coming to school and trying to excel in the classroom in the instruction they're providing to their students every day. So that doesn't go unnoticed, and it is appreciated that you are making marks not just on our student athletes, but the kids that you are impacting every day in their learning in the classroom. So thank you for that. To the student athletes, you guys, I always say the students are the best of us, and that is absolutely the truth. I don't know that everyone knows, we don't have the statistics, but I can guarantee that a large number of these kids that are sitting here tonight are also scholar athletes. They are carrying very rigorous course loads, and they are stressed trying to excel at everything they're doing, and they're doing it, and it's not easy. So you guys should be commended. You are the best of us. You make us so proud, and you should be so proud of yourself.
I mean, everything that Tish said, obviously, I tell, like what Jeff said is so true. This is not normal to have this much success in a district. When I tell people about our district and what our students are achieving on an academic level and athletics and extracurricular activities, they cannot believe it. Like, I tell people, I'm like, our gymnastics team won 22 state titles. They're like, it doesn't even register in their brains to understand what that means, the work and dedication that goes into that. So, I mean, thank you all so much to our coaches. Thank you for everything you're doing to work with our students, like not only to bring them to the physical skills that they need to succeed, but mentally. I know that that's a big job that you do, and I appreciate it. And obviously our parents for all your support. And of course, to our student athletes, you guys are amazing, and our robotics team, you guys are amazing. I am absolutely awed by you and all you've achieved. You're better than me in every way, and it's just so humbling to see like everything that you do. So congratulations.
As a former principal at Highland Drive Elementary, I am delighted to see some of my students receiving these awards. It's been such a pleasure watching you grow and become fantastic. So congratulations, and congratulations to the parents.
I'd just like to say thank you so much for all of your hard work to all the athletes and all the robotics participants. Very admirable and really inspirational. Thank you.
So this is my 14th year on the board, and to kind of borrow Mark Mazzalona's story about the Yankees, where's the parade route? It's the same one every year. This is when we got through the winter and all of the great accomplishments by our student athletes, I was asking Jeff, when are we bringing them in? Because that's the fun part. Some of you may not know this, but sometimes our board meetings don't quite have this many people. Almost can feel a little lonely. So it's nice to see a room full of people, especially young, old, parents, families, students, scholars. So it's just wonderful to bring you all out and recognize you for all of your accomplishments, from our student athletes to the parents and families that support them, to the coaches and staff that help, and everybody else behind the scenes. So thank you all so much, and congratulations for all of your accomplishments. And the rest of the board meeting is kind of the regular thing, so you're welcome to stick around, but if you want to take a moment to exit, we won't be offended. So congratulations.
Council meeting was the same way last night.
pick up again with our agenda. We're going to move on to item 3, President's announcements. I have none, so we're going to move on to item 4, board areas of responsibility. And we're going to start with Legislative OSBA Liaison Ellen.
I just wanted to update anybody who's paying attention. 4 weeks ago today, we had a board meeting, and following that board meeting, we sent a communication to the community about what's happening with the state legislature and the budget that's currently being negotiated at the state level and how that's going to be affecting public schools. And then I think this is also just a good time to clarify that because we're in a split district, because it's Brecksville and Broadview Heights, unlike most school districts, we have 2 representatives and 2 senators. Broadview Heights is represented by Representative Davila and Senator Tom Patton. Brecksville is represented by Representative Phil Robinson and Senator Jerry Serino. Anyway, one of the things that we had asked the community to do in the communication that got sent out on the 19th was to reach out to their legislators about the Fair School Funding Plan and the dramatic expansion of private school vouchers. Unfortunately, earlier this month, I think on April 2nd or April 9th, just within the last week or two, the House voted to discontinue the Fair School Funding Plan. We don't know yet what the Senate is going to do with it. The ball's in their court now, but it does appear that the Fair School Funding Plan may be ceasing as of the budget that goes into effect July 1st of 2025. And then there's also been, and our treasurer, Mr. Yanaglass, can probably explain this better, but there's been an interesting new twist placed on, but with this, the budget that's currently being negotiated, the House has proposed that school district property tax rates based on the district's carryover balance basically be refunded if the carryover is more than 30% of the previous fiscal year general fund expenditures. And this is going to be a pretty dramatic change from what's currently been happening. It doesn't bode well for our district, so I do want to let people know that that's happening. The Senate now will be negotiating what the budget ultimately looks like as of June 30th, but there's some pretty problematic things that are being discussed at the State House.
Okay, and just to be clear too, that the budget is being negotiated, so there's the House, the Senate, the governor has to sign it, so it's still in flux, but some of the things coming out are troubling. Cuyahoga Valley Career Center, Ava?
Well, people from the CVCC, the administrators get to go to Georgia or Florida in the upcoming month, and they're going to be attending the Skills USA and Educators Rising conferences, and there are 28 students that are competing in 4 national competitions and an additional 5 attending as assistants for them. In addition to this, Garfield Heights' career specialist has been made whole as a full-time person, so that's 6 out of 8 people are now full-time for them, so they've been able to do that as well. The program names that are available to students and adults, actually, at the CVCC will be changed to more accurately reflect their program pathways. So from the beginning of next school year, you're going to have hotels and resort hospitalities changed to hospitality and food preparation. Auto service tech is going to be automotive technology. Sales and services is going to be transitioned to work. Culinary arts and food services is going to be culinary arts and hospitality management. Graphic imaging technology will be print production. And Computer Networking Academy is going to be networking and cybersecurity. That's all I've got.
Great, thank you. Moving on to curriculum, Tish.
Okay, so Dr. Martin, I may need to call you in because I left my notes. My curriculum update isn't too lengthy, but I believe the elementary school has completed all of their ELA OST testing, or is it both? Yeah. Yep. So, yes, so the OST tests at our elementary school, we've tested 800 kids and got that done in record time with only 6 makeups. So the logistics of that, there's a lot of moving parts there, so kudos to the elementary school. And Dr. Martin, along with Scott Kinkoff and Mr. Harrison, attended an AI conference in San Diego. Mr. Harrison has talked about it at a previous board meeting regarding artificial intelligence, and I know that it invigorated our administrators, and they're very excited to bring back what they've learned and start kind of processing through and looking at how it can be used and how it can impact our students. So that is really all I have for curriculum.
Okay, thanks. Moving on to finance, myself and Tish, we just recently completed, the state just recently completed our audit, and we came through with flying colors, so great job to Craig and his staff.
Absolutely.
We don't have anything else on that topic, right?
Not from that invigorating meeting we had.
Yes. I think it should be noted that the several audits we've had over the years, we have always come through with flying colors, and that really is a credit to Mr. Yanaglas and his staff and how well he is managing the finances of the district. So we do thank you for that. It's wonderful to sit through for me, a really boring financial meeting where they do nothing but tell you that you're doing a great job. Right.
And the state always comments to how easy it is to do the audit here, because everything comes through very clean, so.
Yep.
Okay, we're going to move on to transportation. That's myself. It's all quiet again on transportation front, so that's great. No appeals. Board policy, Lisa and Ellen.
Go ahead.
We have a couple policies on the agenda tonight. Some are final readings, one's a first reading, one's not first. It's like we're passing it in one session. So we can talk about those maybe when we get to that on the agenda.
It's been the year for policy, let's just put it that way.
Moving on, thank you to BBH Schools Foundation. Tish.
Just not too many updates for the Schools Foundation tonight. They are obviously getting ready to fund for Senior Awards Night, several scholarships that will be coming up. I believe that's in May. And then for any of our staff that are thinking about applying for Schools Foundation grants to impact instruction and supplemental activities for their students, those applications will be available Tuesday, April 22nd. So I had to think, I'm already in May. So April 22nd. So staff, if you are thinking about that, that application will be available then, and it will be due June 3rd for review. That's it.
Great, thank you. Safety, Ava and Lisa.
We have nothing. Yeah, no
Okay.
update.
Sustainability, Ava and Ellen.
No updates.
PSO, Lisa.
Okay, for the high school PSO, they're still selling tickets for after prom on April 26th. The tickets are $10. There's still tickets available. Just to plug this event, again, it's going to be a really great event. PSO has put a lot of work into it. It's a great event for kids to do something safe after prom. It's going to be at the Brexville Rec Center. It's featuring bingo, poker, swimming, muddy wind tunnels, ping pongs, open gym, photo booths, prize grabs, and food, including pizza, Cane's chicken fingers. I kind of want to go, but that would be weird. So please encourage your students to attend. And then the PSO also provided lunch and volunteers for the career fair we had on April 3rd. At the middle school, they're looking for a recording secretary for their executive board. And middle school also hosted a book fair last week during the school day. I got the chance to volunteer there. It's always really fun to see the kids shopping for books and trinkets, and the big book this year was the new Hunger Games book, and we ran out of copies, and they tried to order more but couldn't get any, so this is a really nice event for our kids to be able to get some new books and see, be able to shop and get see what else is out there, and then it's also a nice fundraiser for the PSO. At the elementary school, PSO purchased final items for the Gifts and Goals program. They were able to accommodate over 200 requests and provide 1,300 items benefiting our staff and students, and I have a list of the items, but we'll be here all night if I read those. They also, I think we talked about last time, they had the book swap. Over 6,000 books were donated, and PSO volunteers sorted through those, so they were, set up by grade level, and kids could come in and get their books. I think depending on the grade level of books, kids could take different amounts. So like at the high end, pre-K got to each take home 7 books, and 4th and 5th graders each got to take home 1 book. And then the elementary school PSO is also organizing Earth Week next week, and that'll be for 4 days, and they have a bunch of different groups like the library, the Tinkers Creek Watershed, Youth Eco Impact, Brecksville Nature Center, Rust Belt Riders, and a local garden club. They come in and they talk with the kids about recycling, about water conservation, all kinds of different topics. That's a wonderful event too. And then the next PSO council meeting will be Thursday, May 1st. And that's it.
Great, thank you. Co-curricular, extracurricular, Tish and Lisa.
I think that's been covered.
Permanent improvement facilities, myself and Ellen. We just had a meeting 2 days ago on Monday where we did a deep dive on both permanent improvement and a review of our campus master plan and some very preliminary draft numbers associated with all of the elements of the campus master plan. So for those that are interested, I would strongly encourage you to go back and watch or listen to our meeting, our special meeting from 2 days ago. You can get informed on all of the permanent improvement and campus master plan events that are going on. Probably the biggest thing that's on our front burner right now is the entranceway from the old Hilton Elementary School that is going to be converted into an access drive into the campus. Will come up the hill and connect into the rest of the campus. And so the timeline for that, the hope is that could get done before the end of the year, but it is coming, and that should help alleviate some of the traffic concerns on Mill Road. And then there was, of course, other PI elements that we talked about. A lot of them are kind of normal maintenance, new buses, new vans, that type of thing. So again, for those that are interested, best thing to do would be to go back to our meeting from 2 days ago, and you can get filled in on all of that. Okay. We're going to move on to item 5, superintendent's communication, announcements and presentations. So with that, I'll turn it over to Jeff.
Yeah, we have posted on the website a portion of the presentation from Monday. So those that are interested in the campus master plan and the different phases of that and the preliminary information, it is posted on the new district website, which brings me to the new district website. It has been up and running for about a month now, or just shy of a month. We continue to receive feedback and make improvements, but it's a vast improvement from our website prior, not only visually, but with the way information is presented. We will continue to enhance communications through the use of the website as we continue to move forward. Just a quick clarification. Mr. Dosen talked about the new Hilton Drive being done by the end of the year. He was speaking end of calendar year, not end of school year. Those of us that work in 2 calendars in our head, I'm like, ooh, that's kind of soon. But we're hoping by the time snow flies is the idea to have the new Hilton Drive opened and give us a 3rd entrance on the campus and alleviate the backup of traffic on Mill Road both before and after school. Before I go on, because I don't have many announcements tonight, I do want to send a special shout out to Mr. Ben Lesh and Mr. Phil Packard for all the work that they've done tonight to make tonight possible. Phil said this is probably going to be our best streamed Board of Education meeting, so we're all going to have to check this one out because he and Mr. Lesh are back there mixing the controls and everything else, so he's putting our best foot forward. But your efforts don't go unnoticed, and Phil, I do not know what we're going to do when you graduate. As Mr. Jacob always says, you may be missing a credit or two, so I don't know if we'll be able to graduate. But thank you for the effort. You definitely make us proud as a school district, as a product that we've been able to help bring along. So thank you to both of you. With that, I will save my comments for different things throughout the agenda.
Yeah, and we do appreciate the little musical interlude, too. Kind of a nice transition, so thanks.
And we have lighting tonight, too. I mean, it's all here.
Okay, we're going to move on with our agenda. Item 6, Treasurer's Communication. I'm going to turn it over to Craig.
Thank you. So if you noticed, I flipped things this month. So we're looking at the AI-generated presentation first, and then my regular report is at the end. So this is the April report, analyzing the month of March. So you can see overall, I've talked about this before. I got some confirmation actually today. It looks like we're going to go under, especially on the real estate tax and the real estate collections. We're going to be under projections. And they've had a couple people with K-12 consulting that has been looking at it because they're a little shocked by it too. And it's something that's been, Cuyahoga County, it's not just us. But what they have found, and they've checked everything that they can tell, is that, and I've got to reach out to the county auditor as well as the treasurer just to have complete confirmation, is that we just saw a dip in people that have paid their real estate taxes on time. So we do think it's delinquencies. It's just not something that we've experienced here as much, and really truly even as much during the pandemic, we did not see much of a dip. But that could be a troubling sign for the economy perhaps, I don't know, but our collection rate is down. So we're looking at that in terms of what we would project moving forward and whether we would carry that through the forecast for at least the next year or two, or whether we'll maintain our stability in what we have, and hopefully this is some sort of one-off in what the collections were. So again, they're usually pretty spot on, but unfortunately from what they have, we're about $300,000, $400,000 less than what we had projected to collect in real estate revenue. So that is generating kind of where we are a little bit of why our projections are a little bit less overall. So overall, it's not really that much when you look at that number of 56.4 to 56.3, but that's because other categories are making up for some of those losses. But real estate is the largest segment that we see a discrepancy in as of this time.
What's the assumption we make in our forecast as far as collection rates?
So we have traditionally been around 98%. So we hang out in that range of 97 to 98%, but it looks like we're well below that. We might be at 95, 96%. So it's still a high rate in comparison to some other surrounding areas, but again, usually in a district like ours and our similar districts, they don't see dips like that.
I'm wondering, sorry to interject, but I'm wondering that because the county made some changes on how they do the collections, on how people pay their bills, where people weren't notified. There wasn't, I'm trying to remember the specifics of it, but, for people that were doing like automatic payment, there was some change in their process where a lot of people were caught off guard.
Okay.
And so that may have something to do
Well, and they
with
went out late, as I mentioned before, but also I think that's why they want me to reach out to the treasurer instead of the auditor, because the treasurer is who collects them.
Okay.
So you might be right.
Yeah.
So hopefully I'll get some confirmation, and I'll share that with well, I guess next month is the update of the 5-year forecast, so we'll share that at that time. When we look at the expenses on that side, it actually looks like we have a little bit of a favorable variance for this year so far. In the month of March last year, we had a 3-pay month, and this year we did not. So that was one of the biggest differences in terms of the month to month. But in general, we are looking good in terms of the expenditures for the year. When we look at our cash balance projections, this would be a negative $728,000. It would be our first deficit spend since I've been here, actually I think since back to 2017, 16. When we had a deficit spend, and now we are looking at a $26 million carryover, which I'm going to talk about that carryover in a minute, Mrs. Kramer. On this chart, I think this chart is actually it's really helpful to use this as a visual. This chart shows our ending cash balance by month. So when you look on the left, you see July when we start the year, and on the right is June when we finish the year. So you can see that we have very large swings because of when we get our revenue, because we don't have much money that comes in from the state. So if you take this is where we started the year out at $770,000. If the state gets its way and does what they want to do, 25% would have our starting cash balance down around here where my mouse is at about $14 million. 30% puts us at around $17 million, so it's slightly above. So if you picture that this is the starting point and where that's going to dip when we get to January, that is where treasurers are alarmed, because it puts quite a cash flow constraint on school districts at that time of year when you're waiting for real estate revenues to come in. So this kind of at least demonstrates that very, it's the lowest point that we see every single year is January, and that would put us well below 90 days of cash in some months. I think it would not be long when you start there and your deficit spending, we would be at 50 days, 40 days, and you're going to see districts going into sometimes financial difficulties if they're deficit spending. Sometimes when you have this traditional levy cycle, you can deficit spend for several years, and under these types of constraints, that's not going to be the case any longer if that actually gets passed in the bill. Again, there's a lot of time to go between now and then, and so we have to see what the Senate comes out with. I think that it's trying to figure out, like, if you want to punish schools that have 300%, so there are schools in the state of Ohio that have a 300% cash balance, then why are you targeting at such a low percentage for what it comes out to be for most traditional school districts? So I think that 25 and 30% sounds like a lot of money, but in my opinion, it's not. So we will hopefully continue to advocate for what would make us in a better sound financial position.
And this move by the state just takes us back to the ballot more often.
Correct.
Well, it would, yeah. So that's what the House is putting in their budget proposal, is this carryover, because some of them view that some districts are sitting on too much cash and they want to give it back to the voters, like a refund back to the voters. Although if they did put this in place and school districts are sitting above the threshold where it should be, school districts would instead of losing it, look to spend it down too. I mean, because, if you go back to our PR, permanent improvement meeting and our permanent improvement needs, there are many needs that we still haven't got to. We have an ongoing list of improvements, permanent improvement needs in the district, and those are prioritized, and we get to them when we can get to them. So some of these changes that they're suggesting, as Jeff mentioned, if they were to take effect, they would require the district, when we would go out for levies for new operating money, to go out for a smaller amount because you don't want to build up a big balance, which means it wouldn't last as long, which would put you on the ballot again more frequently. And if you were over, you would be encouraging school districts to then spend down that money on other things like permanent improvement that, you may not need to do right away, but, short of losing the money, school districts would be motivated to try to take care of some of the things on their list. So anyway, just pay attention to what's going on in the state, because a lot of the things that are going on right now are trending in a direction that will shift more of the burden of public schools onto local taxpayers. That's really the bottom line. The changes that they're making or they're looking to make are looking to shift more burden onto local taxpayers. So pay attention, reach out to your state representatives and stay plugged in, because, they are our representatives.
Yeah, and the last part, I think I mentioned this before too, is that over the past several years, we have a healthy cash balance, and we've been able to leverage investments and interest earnings to the tune of last year at $1.4 million. And again, that continues to extend out our levy cycle, because it's a lot of money that we're able to achieve by just using safe investments, as well as where we are with interest rates right now. So that really helps us. And under that scenario where we would be dropped down to 25 or 30% of an ending cash balance of the previous fiscal year's expenditures, we would almost have no money in investments. And so we are trying the best we can to get, let's call it free money, as best we can to get that money to make money and help extend that levy cycle out a little bit longer. So definitely be engaged. So again, the importance of maintaining the healthy cash balance is right there. You can see the ebbs and flows again. And then here's the traditional, the nitty-gritty details. So we did bring in a total of $15 million in real estate property taxes. That was our final settlement. Total of $17.5 million overall for the month, and we spent $4.7 million, which was $2.8 million in salaries, which this was a supplemental month, so we paid out supplemental salaries for coaches and advisors. So that is why it's a little bit higher than it normally is, as well as the benefits as well at almost $1.1 million in benefits for the month. Again, we are almost pretty much in the ideal range or just under, and it would put us at a negative $700,000 at the end of this fiscal year. This is, again, just the same things that were in the other previous slides, but it's just that comparison of revenue at the top left of this March of revenue versus last March, and then also the expenditure comparison indicating that we had that 3-pay month last year at the same time. When we look overall fiscal year to date revenues, last year previous was in green, and this year was in blue. So you can see they're very close, but the number in blue, which is this fiscal year to date, is less. And we think that that is, again, part of that real estate collection causing that. At the same time, the $40.8 million was what we spent last year at this same time through the month of March. And then this year we are at $42.6 million. Any questions for me? Okay. And then lastly, the cash position and annual spending plans are attached under item B. That's all.
Okay, thanks, Greg. Moving on to item 7, community communications, hearing of the public. Is there anybody here who wishes to be heard? No, so I will dispense with reading the narrative, and instead we'll move on to item 8, consent agenda. Item A, resolve to approve certified personnel recommendations. Item B, resolve to approve classified personnel recommendations. Item C, resolve to approve the check register and bank reconciliation for March 2025 as attached. Item D, resolve to accept donations as presented. Item E, resolve to approve the minutes from the March 19th, 2025 regular board meeting as attached. Item F, resolve to approve superintendent's consent items A through E. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right. On the certified side, we'll see that we have a recall, so we're bringing back one of our phys ed teachers whole from last year due to some retirements. We also have some administrative contracts on the agenda tonight, but on the certified side, you'll see there Josh Bacco and Spencer Warders. And we do have one resignation. This individual had been on leave and was offered a position and chose to not return at this time. And then last but not least, we have an adjustment to a retirement date. Many times teachers will put in for their retirement, meet with STRS, and then find out they might need to adjust their date. We had previously approved this retirement, and this is just moving it up to the 31st of May instead of June 5th. On the classified side, a handful of recommendations, a few other of our administrators that are on that side of the house, Fonzie Culver, Brian Koss, Mark Mazzalona, and Amy Voigt. Both Brian Koss and Amy Voigt are here this evening, so I thank them for attending. Brian helping with facilities and safety coordinator, and Amy with our food service department. Both of these individuals, as well as the others named here, do an outstanding job for us. We have some resignations and then some unpaid leave requests.
Everyone left, so I don't think we get to read the check register tonight. It's very sad. But that is attached as well as the bank reconciliation for the month of March. Everything is continuing to go smoothly there. We do have some donations to accept tonight, $2,500 to the boys basketball team, $2,500 for an AI show expenses from the Martha Holden Jennings Foundation, and a donation to the boys basketball team for $100.
I do want to thank the Martha Holden Jennings Foundation for the grant of $2,500 to help cover the expenses for Dr. Martin, Scott Kinkoff, and myself to attend that AI show. It was an extremely enlightening experience. It was also the conference where our the Department of Education, Secretary of Education referred to AI as A1. If you haven't caught it yet on social media, Secretary McMahon referenced AI as A1. So A1 steak sauce has quite the marketing plan out right now. So make sure you catch that when you get a chance.
Maybe he had steak right before the.
I don't know, but she is leading our national efforts of education.
He's doing an A1 job, too.
A1 job.
One job. And then lastly is the minutes. Any questions?
The minutes are very thorough this month.
AI is getting better.
AI.
Better and better.
Can we put the minutes into generate a podcast maybe? That way
We
people
can.
listen to
Absolutely.
our meeting minutes.
That's a good idea.
Notebook LM.
Actually, I was thinking we could do that with our meeting we had on Monday.
Yes.
See what that comes out with.
I thought that was stimulating enough. I don't know where we need artificial intelligence to improve upon. Okay, any comments or questions? Roll call.
Mrs. Gaelick.
Yes.
Mrs. Kramer.
Yes.
Ms. Kwiatkowski.
Yes.
Ms. O'Meara.
Yes.
Mr. Dosen.
Yes, item passes 5-0. Moving on to item 9, superintendent's recommendations. Item A, revised board policy, first reading.
Is there anything you want to say about it?
Do you want to comment on that at all, or?
I thought we usually waited to the, oh, it's a.
Well, because this is
Gotcha.
information.
Gotcha, yes.
Action.
So in our board update, I tried to explain this. We have to meet certain, I, as superintendent, have to certify that our school district is meeting certain items for Title VI. And this has to do with the court, or the case law that came out on Harvard and DEI and all of that. So a long story short, I have to sign off that our district is not discriminating against any protected class. And one of the things I have to do is change this policy, because this is one of our policies that requires 2 reads to change it. And basically what this policy is telling us is when we pass a policy under emergency status, which we're going to do here in a couple letters, at the next regular meeting, it expires and we have to go through the process. Well, if we did that, then what I sign off on by 11:59 p.m. Friday night would be not correct. And my license would be in jeopardy, but more importantly, our federal funding could be in jeopardy. So this is the first read of this policy that we're going to make an adjustment to the legislative piece of the way we operate, that a board policy passed under the emergency conditions will stay in force from that point forward. So that's the first read of that tonight. The next one, which is the revised board policy, is parent and family involvement.
We're gonna move on to that next.
Gotcha.
That one's an action item, so, right, so the item A, the first reading, means the second reading is when we'll vote on it and enact it at our next meeting. We're gonna move on to item B, resolve to adopt board policy 2111 as attached at a single meeting of the Board of Education pursuant to Board Bylaw 0131 in the best interest and welfare of students and employees of the district. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Jeff. now
All
you
right.
can-
So this is one that, after the review of all of our Board of Education policies, school district policies, with our legal counsel, this is the only one that we had to make a slight adjustment to make sure that we're being clear, that we're not in violation of Title VI, and so that we would be able to sign off on the requirement by this Friday. So when you open that policy, you'll see in green is the adjustment and the language that would be added to it. And it is being passed under emergency status, which means once approved, it goes into effect immediately.
And what happens if it doesn't get approved?
We would run the risk of falsifying the document that I have to sign off on Friday, which would jeopardize my license as well as our federal funding.
Any other comments or questions? Roll call.
Mrs. Gaelick.
Yes.
Mrs. Kramer.
Yes.
Ms. Kwiatkowski.
Yes.
Ms. O'Meara.
Yes.
Mr. Dosen.
Yes, item passes 5-0, and Jeff can sleep easy. We're moving on to item D, Resolved to approve administrative guideline and form revisions as attached. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
So this is our typical policy process. And once we approve policy from the latest update a few months back, these are the administrative guidelines and form revisions that go along with it. It is not a two-read situation. As I remind you with administrative guidelines and form updates, it's a one read, one approval.
Any comments or questions? Roll call.
Mrs. Gaelick?
Yes.
Mrs. Kramer?
Yes.
Ms. Kwiatkowski?
Yes.
Ms. O'Meara?
Yes.
Mr. Dosen?
Yes, item passes 5-0. Moving on to item F, resolved to adopt revised board policies, final reading. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
So as I've said, this has been the year of policy. We typically do 2 updates a year. It's pretty standard, moves throughout. Here, we updated some policy, I think these were related to Senate Bill 2939. The numbers are running around in my head at the moment. But then, after lame duck session, they made some vocabulary changes and definition changes, which required us to go back and revisit these. I will tell you, in many of these policies, even though we've had to do quite a few updates this year, it doesn't really change how we conduct business in our buildings. But it does clarify the way we have to do some things. This is just an update in definitions on a couple of these policies.
Any comments or questions? Roll call.
Mrs. Gaelick?
Yes.
Mrs. Kramer?
Yes.
Ms. Kwiatkowski?
Yes.
Ms. O'Meara?
Yes.
Mr. Dosen?
Yes, item passes 5-0. Moving on to item H, resolved to approve the high school textbook adoption as attached. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Now we get on to some of the most important things we do, and here is textbook adoption. It is for 2 courses, AP Human Geography and American History, it listed there, but also a document that we've attached to the agenda that we provided to the Board of Education, and it was recommended maybe to make it public, which we did, is something we refer to as our talking points that explains the adoption process. This is a document that Dr. Martin and his department do all of the legwork here and all of the hard work. It lays out when we started this process, which just started back in spring of '24 with the planning. Teachers, administrators started their review process, and we brought a committee together in the fall, working through the winter, and then we had our publicly available for review, these materials, which we do, and it's over 30 days that it's available. We're an extremely transparent district. We'll share with anyone who has an interest in knowing what we teach and how we teach and what materials we use. It's a simple phone call to Dr. Martin or myself to make that happen. We had it on display for over 30 days in this instance, and I want to thank the 2 board members. I won't name them and embarrass them, but I'll thank the 2 board members who came in and reviewed the materials. From time to time, depending on the topic or the subject, we have a handful, but I wish we maybe had a little bit more engagement with some of that adoption process, because those who really want to know the materials that we use in our classroom and what we teach, this is the process to get involved with. So I encourage our community to continue to have an interest in what we do in the classroom, because it's outstanding in this district.
Any comments or questions?
I do have a question. AP Geography is new. Next year, or are kids already taking it this year? Okay, that's what. Okay.
Yep. It's a strong number for entry for a first-year EP program. Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Other than 2 board members, did anyone else come in to review the new textbooks?
No, not a formal review, no. One conversation via phone, but there was no, coming in and filling out a rubric or something like that, like the board member did.
Yeah, and just a quick comment, I appreciate us posting that second document. I know in the past, in my tenure on the board, there have been various cases where community members might come in and question curriculum and question textbook adoption and want to know more, concerned about, what was the process? Was it open? Was it transparent? And I thought that document did a really nice job of kind of laying out what the process is, which had a significant piece of public review, a window of public review. So we are very rigid in our processes here and making sure that we're operating in a very open and transparent way, which does include public opportunity for public review and comment. So I thought that was a good document to put in there so that people can see what went into the adoption of the curriculum.
And back near the beginning of the year, when we approved the AP Human Geography on the board agenda, we had the curriculum framework for the course, which goes even deeper and has the scope and sequence per se and the materials that are being used. Many of those curriculum frameworks are available on our website, for many of our 6 to 12 courses that we teach in our district. And that's a working, living documents that we continue to add to and refine. So not only do you have the opportunity through the adoption process, but you also have the curriculum frameworks that you could reference at any time as well.
Right. And our goal is to get all of our curriculum frameworks published or developed and posted.
Yeah, 6 through 12, they're pretty much all developed. And now that we're onto the new platform with the new website, you will start to see all of those loaded on there. We were going to load them on prior, but it was a lot of work to get them loaded in an old format that needed to then be updated. So that's a work in progress. But they are also in a drive that if somebody wanted a specific course, we could email and make it available to them at that moment.
Great. Any other comments or questions?
Just thank you, Dr. Martin, for, picking out excellent materials for our students and everyone else that's involved with that process. I know we're being coy, but I did come in and look at the books, and I spent more time. I had only planned to do a certain slot of time, and I was so engaged with the textbooks, with the history textbook and all the articles and everything in there, that I was just flipping through it, and I was learning so much. So I'm so excited for our students to have these materials and to be able to work with them. I just found them great. I love them. And it's so exciting that we have, 62, maybe more students for this new AP course. So they're going to love it.
Okay, roll call.
Mrs. Gaelick?
Yes.
Mrs. Kramer?
Yes.
Ms. Kwiatkowski?
Yes.
Ms. O'Mara?
Yes.
Mr. Dosen?
Yes, item passes 5-0. Moving on to item J, resolve to approve the high school robotics team trip proposal as attached. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
You may have trouble with reaching your car tonight in the parking lot if we don't approve this one. Just, But as we heard Mr. Kowach say earlier, 37 students are going on this trip, and I couldn't echo it more what Mr. Jacobs said, but the parents play a huge role in this trip. They'll be going to Dallas for the World Championships. We have attended before, but I think this is a record number of students going.
Great. Any comments or questions? Roll call.
Mrs. Gaelick?
Yes.
Mrs. Kramer?
Yes.
Ms. Kwiatkowski?
Yes.
Ms. O'Mara?
Yes.
Mr. Dosen?
Yes, item passes 5-0. Good luck, robotics team.
Yeah.
Moving on to item L, resolve to approve the middle school robotics trip proposal as attached. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
So these trips kind of cross over by a day or two. So not only do we have our high school students going, but then also we have a large group of middle school students going as well.
Comments or questions? Roll call.
Mrs. Gaelick?
Yes.
Mrs. Kramer?
Yes.
Ms. Kwiatkowski?
Yes.
Ms. O'Mara?
Yes.
Mr. Dosen?
Yes, item passes 5-0. Good luck, middle school robotics team. Moving on to item N, resolve to approve the 2024-2025 TLC pupil transportation agreement as attached. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Item N and the rest following it are all for some of our special needs students, either with an outplacement and or transportation. We see these throughout the year, different reasons why we might be changing companies or changing routes or just having an agreement online with a provider so that we can call on them when needed. That would kind of explain items N through T.
Comments or questions? Roll call.
Mrs. Gaelick?
Yes.
Mrs. Kramer?
Yes.
Ms. Kwiatkowski?
Yes.
Ms. O'Meara?
Yes.
Mr. Dosen?
Yes, item passes 5-0. Moving on to item P, resolve to approve the SR Trans School Transportation Agreement as attached. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Same thing. Comments or questions? Roll call.
Mrs. Gaelick?
Yes.
Mrs. Kramer?
Yes.
Ms. Kwiatkowski?
Yes.
Ms. O'Meara?
Yes.
Mr. Dosen?
Yes, item passes 5-0. Moving on to item R, resolve to approve the 2024-2025 Educational Alternative Agreement as attached. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Comments or questions?
The only difference with this, it is a little different if you guys reviewed it on the agenda. This is an actual agreement for a student to be placed in an educational program. This isn't necessarily transportation. This is an educational program for a student.
And it's happening at this time of the year because the student is new with us.
Yes.
It's coming from a different school district due to some circumstances. So that's why we have to approve this agreement.
Yeah, maintain continuity.
Comments or questions? Roll call.
Mrs. Gaelick?
Yes.
Mrs. Kramer?
Yes.
Mrs. Kwiatkowski?
Yes.
Ms. O'Meara?
Yes.
Mr. Dosen?
Yes, item passes 5-0. Moving on to item T, resolve to approve the 2025-2026 Suburban School Transportation Agreement as attached. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
My only comment with this is when I was reviewing it, and I asked Mr. Harrison, there is no rates in this contract, and I didn't realize it's because it is a contract that we maintain with this company. So that's why there are no rates. It's just ongoing.
Yeah, they're the one that we use the most. And they're kind of the big player on the block as far as transporting students. And so you will see contracts from them from time to time.
My only question is it says for the 2025-2026 school year, or 2025 to 2026, where some of the others were 2024 to 2025.
Yeah, this is an agreement that will be for next school year, and that's why the rates aren't necessarily set, because things may change. But we will be in agreement with them, and then the rates will be based on what the routes are and where the student is going. Those other ones are for changes in transportation. Sometimes from time to time, a certain provider can no longer transport a student for various reasons. So when you see ones in the same year, a lot of times it has to do with changes in routes and/or schedules.
Comments or questions? Roll call.
Mrs. Gaelick?
Yes.
Mrs. Kramer?
Yes.
Mrs. Kwiatkowski?
Yes.
Ms. O'Meara?
Yes.
Mr. Dosen?
Yes, item passes 5-0. Moving on to item 10, treasurer's recommendations. Item A, resolve to approve the tax rate resolution as attached. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
So this is the annually required for the tax rate resolution. There are no changes from last year to this year. Due to the reappraisal, next year we will probably see a reduction of millage on the bond from 2018 for the elementary school, just as a heads up. So the last couple of years, it's all been the same. But next year, we'll be looking at reducing that amount. I just don't know what that's going to be yet, but this bond was originally at 2.36. It was reduced to 2.2, and now it is currently at 2.1. So there should be a further reduction next year.
Comments or questions? Roll call.
Mrs. Gaelick?
Yes.
Mrs. Kramer?
Yes.
Mrs. Kwiatkowski?
Yes.
Ms. O'Meara?
Yes.
Mr. Dosen?
Yes, item passes 5-0. Moving on to item C, resolve to approve the voucher. Should it be joiner resolution, or is it joinder?
It's joinder.
It is joinder.
Uh-huh.
Okay, joinder resolution as attached. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
So this is per the discussion at the last board meeting. This would officially have us join the Vouchers Hurt Ohio lawsuit. Our legal team did review this. It is an annual resolution that would need to be passed by the board each year. Are there, I think that was all, sorry.
Well, and as Craig alluded to, the board had a lengthy discussion on this topic last board meeting, where the majority wanted to move forward with putting it on the agenda. So that's how it ended up on this agenda. But for more information and to hear all the board members' comments on what their thinking is, encourage everyone to go back to last meeting. where we had a thorough discussion on this topic. Any comments or questions?
I'd just like to thank the board members, especially the ones that have changed their minds to vote yes, to join the Vouchers for Ohio lawsuit. And I think more than anything, we're hoping that this is just in a small part pushing back on some of the real negative financial consequences that are coming our way from Columbus. And it's a statement of solidarity for more than 300 school districts in the state of Ohio have already joined, and I'm hoping that more will join us. So thank you again, and thank the supporters as well.
And I just wanted to comment, we had a discussion, a lengthy discussion about this at the March 19th board meeting, but what's come out of the state legislature since March 19th, at least from my perspective, like really solidifies the fact that we're not going to get much relief from our current state legislature. So this is important to do because things just coming down the pike from the state legislature they don't seem to have any qualms about continuing to expand these vouchers.
I think for me, if I could make a comment before I vote tonight, I agree with Ms. O'Mara that obviously if we join this lawsuit that it aligns us with well over 100 other districts in the state of Ohio. I'm sure it's more than that. And I understand that it could be seen as an action of solidarity. For me, this is in support of, especially in support of our district. I want to be clear that I do support parents in making their own choices for their students' education, and but the way that our public school can be decimated by what is happening to public school funding, this is an action, at least my vote is, in support of Brecksville-Broadview Heights and our public school district.
And I think public education.
In public, sure.
Okay. I feel like I discussed this last time, but I agree with things that were said that, the state, what's coming out of the state legislature just gets harder and harder to understand and to talk with people about. And the situation is just getting kind of desperate. So that's what is kind of informing my vote tonight, is that, we're just moving further and further away for financial support for public education, and it's just difficult to watch. It's disheartening. So.
Yes.
And just to summarize my position, because I'm going to be voting against it, a lot of what's coming out of the state is very troubling, and a lot of what's coming out of the state doesn't even have to do with vouchers. I mean, some of this carryover balance and some of the other things that they're looking at doing are very troubling. So there's a general trend, as I mentioned earlier in the meeting, towards the state passing legislation and budgets that are, in essence, driving more burden onto local taxpayers. And so the voucher lawsuit, from my standpoint, it's going to go forward with or without us. I'd rather focus on outreach to our state representatives. That's kind of where I landed. So, all right, roll call.
Mrs. Galick?
Yes.
Mrs. Kramer?
Yes.
Mrs. Kwiatkowski?
Yes.
Ms. O'Mara?
Yes.
Mr. Dosen?
No. Item passes 4-1. Moving on to item E. Resolve to approve the attached list for asset disposal through public auction. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
So the attached list just shows you currently what we are listing on the public auction site as required. So we are getting rid of some trucks, some vans, some buses. As you know, we continue to buy buses. We've also looked at our fleet and in general and have downsized of what we feel the appropriate levels are for our district. And then also food service has some asset disposals here as well, the items that they no longer need or they've replaced with new.
So if you need a can opener or a toaster, make sure you hit that auction up.
Yeah. Yes. And this will be live, what date, Mr. Cross? It's live now. You can go bid. You can get the toaster. Or a bus if you really want.
You used to be able to get a toaster when you open a checking account. I don't know if you still can, but. All right, comments or questions?
Can I ask a silly question? Like, I see pizza cutters on here. Are these like commercial grade, like fancy pizza cutters, like bigger? Yeah, okay. Oh, okay. I can't.
It could be yours.
Don't get cheated on your slice of pizza.
Yes.
I cannot find my pizza cutters. I lost 2 pizza cutters. I don't know what my kids do with these pizza cutters, so I don't know. I kind of have my eye on that one.
We better get on there.
Any other comments or questions? All right, roll call.
Mrs. Gaelick?
Yes.
Mrs. Kramer?
Yes.
Mrs. Kwiatkowski?
Yes.
Ms. O'Meara?
Yes.
Mr. Dosen?
Yes, item passes 5-0, and thankfully, we're towards the end so that Lisa can get home and bid on that pizza.
You're right.
So, moving on to item 11A, announcements. The next regular meeting of the Board of Education is scheduled for May 28th at 6 p.m. Item B, resolve to adjourn the meeting. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Mrs. Gaelick?
Yes.
Mrs. Kramer?
Yes.
Mrs. Kwiatkowski?
Yes.
Ms. O'Meara?
Yes.
Mr. Dosen?
Yes, meeting is now adjourned. Thank you all for attending, and everyone have a great evening.